Hey folks, welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We're here in the Shrine of Amana. This, as I alluded to earlier, is a heck of a area. I wasn't sure what word I was going to use, and I ended up using a word that started with a vowel, making the A improper. I apologize. Yeah, Shrine of Amana, it's a rough area. It's pretty tough. I have a lot of issues with it, and overall, I'm going to be kind of negative on it during this episode. Woo. And for the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes, however long it takes me to get through. So there are a couple combined factors that kind of make the Shrine of Amana a pain in the butt. And the first one, is the most apparent one I would say, is these priestesses that shoot homing soul masses at you, or something like that. They're homing spells. They do a fair amount of damage, especially if you mistime things and they catch you coming out of your roll, or if you're slashing something, the counter damage will definitely be annoying. That combines with a whole lot of other factors to overall make the experience difficult. And I'll complain about them as I get to them. First things first, I believe there's one right over there. Yes, I'm going to try to take care of enemies, like clear out enemies as best I can, before I do much exploration, and that means probably a lot of sniping, because sniping is all but necessary in this area if you want to do well. Let's see, how do I want to do this? So the thing about the soul masses, like I said, they are homing, and they remain homing pretty long, honestly, up until like a couple feet before they hit you. So if you want to dodge out of the way, you do have to be pretty precise in your timing. Like, let's watch this. Oop. After I take care of that guy. There we go. I'm gonna intentionally, yeah, see that, let's do this. I'm gonna intentionally dodge a little bit early, see? Yeah, depending on how it works out, they can be pretty annoying. So one of the things that these spells combine with to be annoying is those hidden aquatic enemies that come up out of the water. Since there isn't a song going, you don't have a big glowing visual cue to tell you exactly where they are, so you have to be looking for their backs. But even their backs are sometimes rather hard to see, so screw that geometry. Because the water has variable depths, and sometimes the water is deep enough that you can't actually see what's underneath. So enemies can definitely come out of seemingly nowhere. Overall, I really recommend packing a lot of life gems for this area, and abusing them with absolutely no shame. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything prideful here in the Shrine of Amana. That's just not worth doing, quite frankly. There are some large enemies here as well. Why don't I aggro this dude? we go. Don't know what he's doing here. Maybe he just likes the water. And then there's a Cyclops over there. Do I want to try to snipe him from here? I'm not sure what he'll do if I try to snipe him from here, so let's find out. Okay, he'll walk over. Oh, he's a speedy little guy. And he'll get stuck in the doorway. Cool. Oh, no, maybe not. I'm pretty sure the doorways are actually too big or too small for him to get through. So this might be a good place to snipe him. Yeah. So you may be wondering, Datai or Jake, depending on your level of familiarity with me, why don't you just run up and attack these enemies? Well, two reasons. One, the priestesses that fire the homing shots at you, they can fire those at you from a long way away. And it's not uncommon to be dealing with an enemy, thinking that you're in the clear, and then just you get blindsided. Something comes up from behind you, whether it's a spell or it's another aquatic hollow there. It's very easy to get taken off guard in this area, especially since they have a lot of clear space to fire shots through. The other reason is the copious amounts of water that make walking and maneuvering a lot more difficult than it is on regular land. Fighting a Cyclops in waist-deep water sucks. See how far those go? Holy butts. So yeah, definitely be eagle-eyed, be looking around. Dark Souls does like to make sure that you are paying attention to your surroundings, and this takes it to a new level. Alright, let's grab this item that the Cyclops dropped after I take care of that thing. So another tricky thing about the water here, if you look really, really carefully, I just heard a spell. If you look really, really carefully, go back in the footage there, I'm going to deal with these guys, you will notice that there was a drop-off into deeper and indeed bottomless water. The visibility in the water is not great, and it's very easy to just walk off a ledge to your doom. And that is especially likely if you are trying to maneuver around somebody and fight them in melee. So again, sniping will do you a lot better. As I say as I melee this one. Alright. So I think I've cleared out most of the enemies here. I should be safe to explore a little bit. You'll notice over there, there's a dragon rider positioned above a submerged bridge here. We're not going to worry about that guy right now. In fact, we cannot reap the benefits of going along this path. We're going to need to go a little bit farther and get a new item in order to get all those wonderful prizes. So, just not going to bother. What I am going to do is run back to the bonfire, not rest at it, but light a torch. Because lighting a torch is actually pretty beneficial in the Shrine of Amana. and you'll see why in just a moment. So, if you light a torch, the light scatters through the water, and it becomes a lot easier to see what is on the ground. Whether those are enemies, I say as I don't notice an enemy. Whether those are enemies or the place where a pit drops off, the torch makes it a heck of a lot easier to see. Also, a Pharaoh's contraption, which I did not realize was here until I did research for this episode. And then I forgot to get it on a previous recording, so I'm redoing the recording. The Helix Halberd. Let's see what that's all about. I did some cleaning of my inventory, by the way. A halberd with a helix-shaped handle, headed with a double blade. A complex design, some would say excessively so, that hides a spear within its handle. Although its precise origins are unclear, its construction appears to utilize techniques from the lost land of Alaphus. Well, remember, that's where Straight is from. Bit of a surprise that Alaphus has blacksmithing expertise as well as sorcery. Anyway, here you can see a lot more clearly than before the difference between bottomless pit and ground that you can stand on. It's a fine line. It's rather difficult to see without a torch. Now, of course, running around with a torch in this area has its own issues. One, you are surrounded by water, and if you roll, say, to dodge an enemy and attack, by, you know, accident or instinct, your torch will go out. The other issue is that if you are trying to approach this area by blocking long-range attacks, blocking those spells, you're going to need to do that with a shield in your left hand, which is the only place where you can have a torch. So it's a trade-off there. You can only have one going at a time. At least I'm pretty sure you can't. Let me double check. Now I'm going to be annoyed. Okay, you can block. You can do this, but you can't attack. You might be able to... You can do that. If you want to do this, if you want this to be your strategy, you can block attacks with a shield, walk up to the priestesses, and then try to kill them to death with a torch. You can do that. Not recommended. Incidentally, if you are interested in using a shield, then a shield with high magic resist, such as the Bellkeeper shield, is useful. But you saw how quickly she was firing those things. Your health is going to whittle down bit by bit, and you're going to be low on health by the time you get to her. And then you'll need to do some fancy footwork in order to heal. So it's not an optimal setup. Anyway, how about I run up to her and kill her real quick. Ooh. Oh, there's so many of these guys. And now you see the issue. There are enemies on all sides. Spells coming from you can't see where. And if you want to try to dodge, you're going to have a hard time. Especially if you want to keep your torch. So using cover, definitely helpful. But this is exactly the situation that you want to avoid, and that is rather difficult to avoid if you are not familiar with the area. I did that purely for demonstration purposes. Definitely. So if that's how you're approaching the area, it's going to be a very stressful and difficult area, and you're going to die a lot. And definitely my first couple attempts, playthroughs through, that's kind of what happened. That's kind of the strategy that I implemented, if you can even call it a strategy. Is run around with your head cut off, attempting not to die. Anybody else I should snipe? There's an Archdrake over there. I think I don't have to worry about him or that one. And I think what I want to do is follow along this path. If you use your torch, it becomes more obvious, but there is indeed a path along these pillars. And I guess you can kind of intuit that there would be a path along the pillars, because you'd expect a solid foundation for those pillars to be on. But I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily want to risk it if I didn't know for sure. Anyway, way off in the distance there, you see there are... Well, there's one priestess, and I'll tell you right now, there's another. Might need to get closer. She might be hiding behind a pillar. Also, don't think I didn't see that guy. Get out of here. Alright, let's follow along here. And thing to be aware of that you wouldn't necessarily know if you don't have a torch lit. After a certain point, the platform on the right of the pillars falls away. So you gotta stay on the left. Let's see if I can visually get... Nope. There's a gap there. Then we got that priestess there, who I'm gonna go straight ahead. There's the gap, by the way. You can see it, but it's hard to see unless you deliberately look for it. And you might not be deliberately looking for it your first time. Ooh. Glad I only swung once, because if I swung twice, I would go careening off the edge. So this is how a lot of the exploration in Shrine of Amana is done. It's done with your camera pointed straight down, so you can't really admire the admittedly pretty nice scenery. Especially the nice lighting over there. Nope. Stare at the ground, stare at the ground. Or light a torch, you know. If you have an excess of flame butterflies, like I do, honestly, then you can probably get away with lighting a torch pretty frequently and unlighting it by accident a whole bunch. But it's still an inconvenience. Alright, alright. So that, I would say, is the first half of this room. Other than Dragon Rider there, we've taken care of this kind of semicircle. We've gone out on that bridge. I don't know what, I mean, it's a shrine, but I don't know what to call any of these particular buildings. And we still got half of this room to go. And we're going to save that for the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.